Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Real Sports Updates here. Back again with another video. So the Pittsburgh Steelers just hired Brian Flores. They hired him to be a linebackers coach and I believe a senior defensive assistant. Um, with some title doesn't really mean anything. He's pretty much just going to be a position coach and probably the highest ranked position coach that they have. This is this is really big news. With the lawsuit and everything that Brian Flores has against the NFL and all of the litigation and all that stuff that's forthcoming. This is big news for the NFL, but this also is good news, I believe, for the NFL as well too. Um, the whole thing with black coaches not getting the head coaching opportunities and whatnot. There's definitely merit to that. But I think in this specific situation, especially after the allegations that Brian Flores made about Stephen Ross, um, I think it would have been detrimental to the NFL to not have Brian Flores coaching somewhere. Um, to kind of, and not even the for him to not be focused 100% on his lawsuit going forward, because I think he is. He seems like a motivated person who can do two things at once. He can coach and still, you know, um, give the necessary attention that he needs, to his legal team and all that stuff, as they get ready for the forthcoming litigation battles. But I think the thing about this specific situation is that Brian Flores is a good coach, and he showed it for 3 years in Miami, how good of a coach he is. He took over when they were pretty much just bare bones, didn't really have anything. Um, you know, they drafted well. Um, with Tua being the only question, but Brian Flores wasn't a guy who was really sold on Tua. So, I think he did a really, really good job. And it's, you know, even separate from what's going on with the lawsuit and all that stuff, you, as a football fans, um, the media, the league in general, should want the best coaches coaching in the NFL. And Brian Flores falls under that. He has shown that he can really, really coach defense. The Miami Dolphins defense was they really outperformed their talent level. They were not a team who was like very deep. You know, as far as the talent pool goes on defense, but they really they played a good assignment based football. They showed a lot of different looks, and they had a lot of success on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that's a credit to Brian Flores, and it's also a credit to the Steelers. I think a lot of people um, are looking at this, and I've seen some comments and stuff, and I don't think people mean to be disingenuous, but some of the comments are disingenuous, and they were praising the Steelers, praising Mike Tomlin, praising the organization, um, as as if they are doing a favor for Brian Flores, or they're doing this for other reasons aside from football. This is clearly a football move. I'm a Charger fan, and I wish we would have brought him in as a defensive assistant, because that guy can coach his ass off. And when you look at him and you look at his tenure in Miami, you look at before then, he learned under the best in Bill Belichick. He learned defense under him, and so he applies some of those same defensive principles, right? Obviously, he's not Belichick. He doesn't have the wealth of experience, the wealth of knowledge that Bill Belichick has, but he's a guy who learned under him, and he is a guy who had, when you look at Belichick's assistants, and a lot of people talk about how his assistants haven't had a lot of success in the league. From who Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel, all these these guys of yesteryear, all the way to Josh McDaniels in Denver, Matt Patricia in Detroit. They haven't done well. Joe Judge, that disaster in New York. Um, so typically Belichick assistants have not done very well. But Brian Flores, he kind of threw that out the window. He had great success. And if the quarterback wasn't a question, the Miami Dolphins would be a perennial playoff team. And possibly, they play defense well enough to, if they had the quarterback position solidified, they could, be in a championship game easily. With the way that they play defense, and if they're able to run the ball and have their quarterback not do too much, not lose the game for them, they could have been a contending team. But I think they're going to start all over again with Mike McDaniel. But I think Brian Flores with the Steelers, I think he is going to do some good things. And this honestly is a godsend for the Steelers. The Steelers defense has been they've been good the past 4 to 5 years. They've been good, but they have not been. They really haven't played Pittsburgh Steelers defense in a really long time. You look at T.J. Watt. He's a guy. He comes off the edge. He gets a lot of sacks and stuff, but they can be beat. Steelers defense can be beaten in several different ways. They don't stop the run as well as they did in previous years. And their backhand is a question as well too. So I think Brian Flores really is going to bring that knowledge. He's going to bring a lot of different defensive scheme, but a lot of different looks and all that stuff. And I think the Steelers want to get more into that. They've ran the same defense for as long as I can remember. The 3-4 and the zone blitzing and all that stuff, and it worked really well for them for a number of years. But in the modern NFL, I think you have to be more multiple in your looks. You have to be a little bit more intricate with the way that you play defense. You can't just go out there and just do the same things that you've always done. You kind of have to you have to you're gonna have to differentiate. A lot of these quarterbacks are ready to play right away, and they'll burn you. And they've seen a lot of this, a lot of these same defensive looks in colleges and stuff like that. So they'll come out and burn you. So you have to kind of change it up. And I think Brian Flores is the perfect change up for the Steelers. I expect their defense to be really, really, really good situationally next year. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that Brian Flores has taken from Bill Belichick, his situational defense. On big third downs and stuff like that. The Dolphins defense really did get off the field. They were able to turn teams over. They were able to shut down good offenses. So I think this is definitely a positive for the Steelers. The commentary surrounding it, it is what it is. But as a football move, this is fantastic. And this could really move the needle for the Steelers. And this could move the needle. I expect Brian Flores to be a head coach, for another team. There's no way that he, especially the Steelers, they have success on defense, and they start to, really, show that especially just like I said, situationally, they start to show those lessons that they have learned from the Flores coaching and whatnot. I think Brian Flores is going to get another job here pretty soon, probably within the next 2 to 3 years, I would say. Especially once all the litigation stuff gets resolved and that's water under the bridge. I think he'll get another head coaching opportunity, but we'll see what happens going forward. But it is definitely a positive for the Steelers. Definitely a positive for Brian Flores, and I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to work out really well. So, yeah, but that's all I got for for today, guys. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Got more content coming. I'll see you later.